Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my live stream. And I'm going to be going over my game Junkyard quest today. And I'm going to just be doing a simple playthrough. It's kind of like a walkthrough playthrough. And I'm going to provide some commentary on how I built the puzzles and how I built the game. So first, I'm in Godot, the Godot editor 4.6.1. And I've built my own kind of adventure game text parser to where you type in commands and then you can move your character around and have an adventure game that way. So that's kind of what it is. It's a really small game. I'm really building the kind of adventure game engine on top of Godot. So that's what I'm doing first and foremost. And I have another game that I'm working on called Rain Quest. And I'm also going to do another mini game here, maybe in a week or two, and maybe do an itch.io game jam or something. Yeah, so those are my plans, and yeah, let's get started. So let me change this to windowed mode, and let me just start the game. All right, so those are the game settings. This is the game menu. You can come in here to the settings and adjust the soundtrack. So I'm going to do that. Okay, and then all I have is this new game. I don't have save or restore yet, but I'm working on save and restore in my Rain Quest game. Okay, so welcome to Junkyard Quest, an old school text parser adventure game. Press enter. This game is a text parser game, which means you type in commands and hit enter. The game will then respond to you with dialogue. Press enter. Type help to know what to do next. Press enter. Press escape to get to the menu. And go ahead, type look, and it will give you a clue to what to do next. Okay, so the text parser is you move around with your character with the arrows, and then you type in the command. So, look. Welcome to Junkyard Quest. You drove down to the junkyard today in hopes of finding something valuable. Maybe you'll find some gold in a pile of sweet, sweet trash. You notice that the guard has gone to lunch, and he won't be back until after you complete the game. You also notice a dollar bill by one of the bags of trash. Use the keyboard arrow keys to move over there and then type take dollar. And I wish money was this easy to find. Take dollar. You take the dollar bill. Awesome, you got your first take home for the day. Who cares if it's dirty? It's money. And where I come from, money is money. You take it. Press tab to view your inventory, hover over the item, and press enter to view a description of the item. Okay, so tab, inventory, and then select the dollar. The good old dollar bill. You can buy something at the convenience nearby. Okay, so it's a text parser, so you can say, look at the clouds. You see wonderfully crafted pixel art clouds. This must be a retro style game. Okay, look at the ground. You look at the ground of the junkyard and see tires, bags of trash, a broken down RV. Look at RV. You see a broken down RV. You think about climbing it so you can get out of the junkyard. But then you remember that one game, climbing on spaceships. You can't even get up to the top of the RV without cutting yourself on something rusted. Don't even try it. You have been warned. Okay, so then we'll come up here and try to open the door. The door is locked. Although it looks rusted, you might be able to break it with something. Break door. Can't do that. And all I have is my dollar bill. Be careful of that hole. Don't fall in. All right, so this is the second screen. And we got some cars here. And yeah, so let's go up to the car. We're going to look at the car. You see a car in the junkyard. Oh, if you only had the money. Take car. You can't do that. Break into car. Can't do that. Open door. I don't see that here. Okay. So we're going to do another look. We're in the middle of the junkyard. It's a nice, cool, sunny day to look through some trash. Take trash. The trash is too grimy and gross. Don't touch it. We don't know where you've been. Ha 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 ha. Okay. Look at the ground. Look at the ground of the junkyard. See tires, bags of trash, and a crowbar. Okay. Take crowbar. You take the crowbar. All right, so now I could probably break into that RV. But let's go over here to this screen, the third screen. And this is the exit of the junkyard. So we're supposed to get out of this junkyard by opening that door. So let's go to try to do that. So we're going to say open door. You haven't yet turned off the security camera. You'll go to jail if you bust out of here like that. Okay, so why don't I just finish the game, because you can only do it, you should be able to do it in about 10 minutes. And then I'll go back and talk about some of the things that I've used in Godot. Okay, so you can't get out of the door until you turn off the security camera. So turn off camera. Can't do that. Look at camera. See a security camera. Better not try to steal anything and go to jail. You have a convention to go to. Okay, so let's see if we can press these buttons. You press buttons on the panel, but nothing happens. You don't know the password. Maybe the guards area has a password you can find. Okay. And then we also have this box. Open box. Toolbox is locked. There must be a key somewhere. Okay, so we don't have a key. We just have the crowbar and the dollar bill. Okay, and then also I have a score that you could see. Score 2 out of 11. Okay, so let's go back to the RV. We got the crowbar that we can use to break in. Then we'll see what's in this RV here. Okay, so use crowbar. You use the crowbar to break the lock on the door of the RV. Now you can open the door. Open door. Okay, so now we're inside the RV. All right, so there's the key. Take key. And then we're just going to read this paper. You read the paper and see that there's a security code on it. It reads dog on. All right, so that's all that we'll do in here. We'll open the door to go back outside. Again, watch out for that hole. Okay, so now we have the key. We have the security code. We can do either, but there's a certain way that we can get more points, get the total amount of points, and that's if we open the toolbox to get the screwdriver. Okay, so we'll open box now that we have the key. You open the toolbox and look inside, or look at box. You see the screwdriver in the toolbox. Take screwdriver. Okay, let's take the screwdriver. Okay, so now if we mess with the panel, now that we have a screwdriver, you use the screwdriver to mess with the security panel. It shuts down the camera. Good going. Now you can get out of here. Okay, so the security camera's off, but then we can also press the buttons in the security system. You type in the password you found in the RV, it turns off the security system. So now we have the 9 out of 11 points, and now we can go through the door. You open the gate and escape the junkyard. You did it. Thanks for playing. All right, so that's my game Junkyard. That's the simple walkthrough, playthrough. And thanks for playing Junkyard Quest. Join us for more adventures next time. All right, so let's talk about some of the tools that I made to build this adventure game. So let's go to Junkyard West here really quick, and let's look at this door. So we have a hotspots folder or a node, and then we have gate door. So gate door has a bunch of actions. It has look. So if we look at this gate door, so the hotspot is going to have an ID, and you create that ID is what you want to call it in when you're typing it. So when you type in look at door or look at gate, it's going to run this. So it will see that you have these actions set up. Then if you open it, first of all, it's going to check to see if you're in the range, and there's this in range area right here. So that's this circle right here. So you have to be within certain ranges for this hotspot to run. So this in range says you have to be within that to open. And what I've done here is I've created an action tree. And all it is just a node that links to another node. That's all it is. And so it can kind of branch out and tree out versus what you want to do with it if certain conditions are met. So the condition to get out of the gate is that you would have to turn off the security camera. So that's the very first thing that I check right here is has state. And let me turn on my mouse right here. So we're in the in range right here, and then we're also have this action has state. And the state is this turned off security state. And this is a global state that I'm using right here. So I have a game state store. So game state store. And what I have in here is I have the inventory. I have the state of the game. So just a key value, and the value is just a Boolean. And I have a list of all the rooms and all their states. So I have this kind of a singleton store where I just keep all my data and I can just access it from anywhere. And then when you start a new game, I just reset that. Okay, so it's going to check if we have a turned off security state. So if we come over here and we say the state, I'm going to give it a key, and you've turned off security. Now we can come in here and play this. And we just say open door. You open the gate and escape the junkyard, you did it. Okay, and that's because we've already have the state. It's already in our manager over here. So let's take that out. Okay, and then let's try that again. So we're just going to say open door again. You haven't yet turned off the security camera. Okay, so what is the action tree doing? So we have our action tree open. It's going to say that we're in range, and we're going to test if we have this state. If it's true, it's going to play this action dialog. If it's false, it's going to play this action dialog. So action dialog 2, and that's going to say you haven't yet turned off the security camera. Okay, so that's all as simple that it is. And so in the has state here, that's where I check to see if we have it in the game store. And then if it does, then it's going to give us the dialog, and then it's going to give us the add points, and then wait for a couple seconds, then play the thanks for playing dialog. Okay, so that's that puzzle. Some of them are a little tricky, like this box. Let's look at this toolbox really quick. So it has a look, open, and a close action. So you can open it and close it. So, and also I have this animation player, which just says it switches out the animation of it. So the animation is a closed and an open box up here. Okay, and then once you open it, it's going to do a few different things. So we're going to check to see if you're in range first to see if you can open the box. If you have the inventory, so we need to have the key first. So this leaf says, okay, has inventory, and then you set up the key over here. If you do have the key, then you're going to run the has hotspot state over here. If you don't have the key, it's going to run this dialog. If you don't have the key, it's going to run this dialog. The toolbox is locked. Okay, and then if you do have the key, it's going to open the dialog, or it's going to open the box. It's going to say you open the toolbox, and it's going to set the hotspot state to open. So not only do we have this kind of a global state, each hotspot has their own state. So if there were two toolboxes, you can open this one, you could open this one, and each one would have their own kind of local state. Okay, then you play the animation, and then if you have it open and you type open again, then it will say this toolbox is already open. So there's some action leaves that are conditionals, and then there's action leaves that are kind of action stuff. So then also every action leaf in the action tree has a next leaf. So some of the actions you can just say, what's the next action? What's the next action? This has inventory leaf you use up here where you give it the item you want, you give it the action leaf that you want to execute true or false. So then you can build up your whole scene tree like this, or action tree, and have that to be open. Then you got to make a close one and do the kind of the reverse of the same thing. So all you're doing really is checking the data in this global state store to see if you have certain inventory and certain actions done. And then you have local scene where the local hotspots have their own states. And that's all you're really doing is building out these action trees to build out the puzzles and adventures in there. And it's really easy to get into. And so every action leaf just extends from node. This could probably be more optimized, but I kind of just, it's an adventure game. It's pretty small. You usually wouldn't put in a bunch of these nodes in here because I guess it's more processing power maybe. And maybe you could do this in like a C++ extension and make it faster. But since this is just a small little adventure game anyway, I'm not running into very many performance problems. But just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's it. That's about it. What my adventure game engine over the top of the Godot engine looks like. If you have any questions or you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to go to the itch.io page for Junkyard Quest and see if you can beat it in under 10 minutes. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.